pushing these topics under the rug. How relevant is it, and how are you managing to bring out the importance or make people realize the importance?
At the workplace currently are doing work with the checklist mentality, the psychological contract in most places between the employer and the employee is broken. So when we started doing the face validity, when we had structured and unstructured interviews, etc., wherein obviously the confidentiality, etc., has to be maintained, we realized that the problems lie much deeper.
What are the biggest challenges that you face? So I'm keeping the corporate formulas aside, but especially since you work a lot with students, how easy or difficult is your work? Because to get the students to understand, show by Naghma. A lot of people tell that we are corporate labels nowadays. And then at the same time, there is also another concept that is gaining a lot more popularity nowadays, which is called the spirituality. We still debate on what it means to each of us. Is it religion related? Is it personal related? Debates keeps going on. So now what if we combine corporate and spirituality together, and that's what we are here to discuss today. Welcome back to another episode of The Next Show with Naghma, and today with me I have an expert, an author, a researcher, a writer, founder of a company, and she deals with this topic called corporate spirituality, bringing it to India and changing lives one by one. Anshul Gupta. Dr. Anshul Gupta. There you go.
Thanks,
Anshul,
Naghma.
welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me at Author's Nest.
Yes. How have you been feeling? How's Delhi treating you, coming all the way from Bangalore?
Delhi is freezing. So that ways it's a bit okay, but otherwise it's beautiful. It's always very good to come to Delhi.
Thank you so much for coming all the way for this recording. I just introduced to people telling that we're here to talk about corporate spirituality. I think people are already confused. What does corporate spirituality mean? So before we deep dive into a conversation, can you give us a small gist in terms of what does this term actually mean?
So corporate spirituality, herein we are not talking about the traditional form of spirituality. It's a construct, based on 5 subdimensions of finding meaning in life through work, having interconnectedness at work, your values and organization values matching, and having compassion at work. So measuring these dimensions in totality is corporate spirituality or workplace spirituality. So this is not something that we have made on our own. So this dimension actually existed since 1999.
Oh, okay.
And it was given in a book by Ashmus Denton, The Spiritual Audit of Corporate America. So they were the first people to introduce this concept to the world. And since then, the research domain has been buzzing with workplace spirituality and corporate spirituality researches. So if you go to a proper Scopus portal or the research arena where the research papers are there are tons of them. And my doctorate and MPhil being on workplace spirituality, and then going back to the corporate, I realized how relevant it is even after the research got finished. So that's where we thought of becoming a bridge between the research and its actual implementation.
That's interesting. How important is it? Because we know that, I wouldn't generalize this, but I'm forced to generalize. The moment we say wellness, spirituality, mental health, a lot of things, people just oversee it. Not that people don't know the importance, but it doesn't take priority in people's life. And this is personal, as well as had I been the HR of a company, and this personal reflections or thoughts that I have will reflect into my work also. We have a habit of pushing these topics under the rug. How relevant is it, and how are you managing to bring out the importance or make people realize the importance?
So, when we started with our research, the problem area that we had identified. So, obviously, being in corporate earlier, I always had that hunch that there's something missing in the way in which we are managing people at work. So, when you go into research, you have to define the problem statement. So the problem statement was that the people here at the workplace currently are doing work with the checklist mentality, the psychological contract in most places between the employer and the employee is broken. And because of that, there are disengaged workforces, decisionship behavior is declining, and it has a negative implication on the organizational profitability.
Of course.
So with that problem area, so how do we plug this? And so my area has been in the human resources, and personally I've been doing meditation for quite a long time. One area that came into mind is, can people be engaged the way they actually do any kind of maybe they meditate or pray or anything. So the kind of engagement levels at that moment is very high. True. So can people be engaged that way at work? So that was the thought process. Maybe a probable solution to this problem statement. So then you start researching, and we found on workplace spirituality.
Interesting.
And it already existed. So it was like my college, the Christ Universities, they said you have actually hit a gold mine. So it existed. We only had to pull out the relevant stuff. So in India, we find research papers from 2004, 2005. And since then it has been. So when we were doing, I was doing research, it was the ASSOCHAM's agenda also during my MPhil times. So even now, Mr. Hari Prasad Kanoria, they do a lot of confluences in Kolkata on humanity and spirituality and its various dimensions.
Makes sense.
So there are various forums who have been already doing this. So our work has been to make this construct measurable and ensuring that it reaches the right kind of audience in a way in which it benefits them.
Makes sense.
So we are not telling people to go to another dimension and understand something which they can't touch and feel. That doesn't work, wherein we are talking about proper matrices, proper performance, and we are talking about actual money.
Makes sense.
So our work has been around making the construct in a way in which people can use it.
Interesting. So who do you work with actually in corporates?
We work with a lot of companies. All kinds of. It can be service or manufacturing, etc. And we also have target audience in terms of colleges. So we do at thecorporatespirituality.com, we do a lot of sessions in terms of grooming college students with the right kind of values and attitudes at workplace, so that they get less frustrated and they become better future managers and they build their teams better.
Wonderful.
At the same time, we worked with a few government agencies also and gave suggestions on how this can help in well-being at work. And we submitted proposals at various places. So NHRD, which is the National HRD Network, has been our major support system.
That's amazing.
Their founder, Sir T.V. Rao. So he has been majorly championing for us.
That's cool.
Even the just past national president, S.V. Nathan sir. So he has been also a great support for us. So that's where the industry took us.
No, that's actually amazing, because I've seen your media articles, your post on LinkedIn talking about your work with NHRD, and it's so great to see the National Human Resource Development actually being involved with a lot of not just following government policies, but working with people directly to create more impact. So how does this overall process work for you? Say, for example, if we have a corporate A who wants to work with you. Now, where do you start? How do you start? Are these going to be shops? Are these going to be certifications? Is it a short-term thing, long-term thing? How do you work with the corporate?
So at the corporatespirituality.com, we have a few offerings.
Okay.
So we have an initial session, say of 45 minutes, where we introduce you, maybe online or offline, to what this construct is. And then if you're interested, then we do something known as certifications. We have 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hour certifications. And what we also have is we have workshops, we have leadership trainings. So that is our list of offerings for the corporates. For students, we majorly have certifications, so that these kind of construct gets imbibed in their own value system, and then they take it ahead.
Even way before they literally get into the corporate
because
jungle.
they are the future.
Exactly. Well, that's interesting. Now, where amongst all of this did you end up deciding to write about it? Because you have 2 books. I mean, you have a lot of articles and etc. So that's a different thing. But in form of books, which is available to the mass audience to kind of try and understand, you've written books. Thank you for that. And that's how I got to understand the concept. But then how did that journey come into picture? When did you turn into a writer?
So, so on and off, I would write something here and there. But when after my doctorate, like everyone else, they went back to their jobs. So we had people from academics. We had a huge batch. So each one started passing off, and they went either back to the corporate or So I went back to the corporate, and a couple of years there, I realized the problems and the things have not changed actually.
Makes sense.
And there was an increasing sense of responsibility within me personally, that after doing 7 years research and being so relevant, and there are so many people actually suffering. So we had seen Karashi that is dead due to overwork. We had studied about it in academics happening in the eastern part of the world beyond India. But we saw that coming slowly to the Indian subcontinent also, with the kind of pressure and lack of work-life balance, etc. And I was like, what is this work doing in my bookshelf? It needs to reach the audience and at least let people have a perspective. With that came the first book, The Spiritual Indian Corporate, which had only the construct and its explanation. But it was taken very well by the who's and who of the industry. And that is when we realized that it is the need of, we ourselves realized, like even after researching for so long, that people really need it. And they started asking the practicality of it.
Makes sense.
That's where came the so it was already there with us. The second book came wherein we have the model of how you actually implement it in an organization. There's a pre-test, there's a post-test, and then there's a sustained competitive advantage for the organization. The employee attitude, employer attitude, how it changes, how do you measure it, and then practical examples, the ethics involved, because all of this, if not done in the right spirit, has its own repercussions. So with that came the second book, The Corporate Spirituality Models, Measurement, Challenges, Ethics and Answers. And then, so we were like, okay, now we gave the docket to people, let them use
explore
it. So people started saying, we need a prototype. We need you to sample it out for us. Of how do we actually do it. With that was born the corporatespirituality.com.
That started after the book?
Yes, after the book. When people started asking of consulting on it. So we required a system in place to actually do consulting.
Of course.
So with that came the corporatespirituality.com with these services. More of to prototype it for people. So that they can more take it ahead. And if they want us to do it end to end, we are ready. We have been doing end to end also for a few places. So people now have been asking on various further dimensions of, if this kind of an industry, of this kind of a problem, then how does this gives a solution. So there are few books more coming in.
Oh, that's amazing.
But it will take a bit of time.
Oh, that's a interesting journey, because I personally always thought you had your company running, corporatespirituality.com was always there, and to get the concept easier in a consumable way, because the research papers will just go over our head. Come on, you need to give us the layman's language. I always thought it's from there that the books came. I didn't know it was the reverse.
No, actually, the
Amazing.
corporatespirituality.com was never an agenda or an idea, because our what do you say, motto was to help people.
Lovely.
And to ensure that there is a dimension of well-being at work, let it reach people. It was never to make it really profitable. But that's where the two books came into. But when people started saying that you are not closing the loop, you need to prototype it, you need to tell people how to actually do it and demonstrate and do sessions. So then came the corporate spirituality.
So what is the perception of an average Indian corporate employee about their own wellness working in a company? I'm not talking about the leadership team. I'm not talking about the engagement or the HR team who is a little bit more advanced in these kind of thought processes, but a normal employee working in a 9-to-5 job in a corporate. How does this particular person perceive wellness in general?
In the Indian subcontinent, the construct of wellness at work is now gaining momentum, with a lot of leadership team now talking about it. So if you see HR also as a field, it has evolved from personal management in India, even globally, and then it became HRM. And then Sir T.V. Rao and Uday Parekh. So all of these people got HRD into India. And that is when the training and development, the succession planning, so all of these developmental things became normalized in the Indian subcontinent. Now what is gaining momentum is spiritual HRM. So work revolves around that, wherein we engage the spirit of the employees, which is the highest form of engagement. And when the spirit is engaged, the purpose is in place, the well-being of the employee is in place, because it's a culture. There's compassion in culture. There is, the values are matching, the individual and the organization. So when that is not in conflict, obviously you're giving your 100% at work, and the organization is also recognizing it, because the parameters in which you see as something as correct is correct, and the organization sees it matches.
Interesting.
So, and there's another dimension of inner life. So wherein the company ensures the well-being that you were asking, the company ensures that you give that time to yourself or for your inner growth. It can be in any form. That is where the well-being, the highest dimension that we can see, wherein the individuals, not just worth, but not just growth, but the inner self is acknowledged.
When they actually shine.
Yes.
Interesting. How long have you been working with this concept?
It's been, so 26 will be almost a decade.
Wow.
So I had my MPhil and PhD, and then the books, it's been almost 3 years, the first and the second book, and now the consulting.
That's amazing. So since the time that you started, because I'm sure once you started your deeper studies into MPhil and PhD, and when your more research papers came into picture, when you started deep diving into the concepts, you would have discovered a lot of things which you would not have technically been aware of before. So in the last 10 years, if we have to just try to make it simple and get people to understand what has been the shift in people in general, in India in general, in the corporate working culture.
So when we started off, whatever hunch I had, when we got into research, we realized it's just the highest tip of the iceberg.
Oh, okay.
So when we started doing the face validity, when we had structured and unstructured interviews, etc., wherein obviously the confidentiality, etc., has to be maintained. we realize that the problems lie much deeper. A lot of them were unsaid, a lot of needs unmet, more of because people were more of on survival modes. In India per se, if we see our growth story, a lot of people are working, at least the millennials till now, are working because they have to run their lives.
They have bills to pay.
Yes. Which is a fact. So in all of that, where does the well-being lies? That is something the initiative had to be taken by the organizations. But the business houses, so we have a few examples in our book. A lot of legacy companies have been doing this. Like we have the Taj Group, we have the ITC Group, we have a lot of examples who already understood its need and they had the resources to give those kind of well-being initiatives already for the betterment of the employees. But for a lot of the corporates, they would take it up only when they see what is in there for them, which is fair enough because they are all there for profitability. But our research ensured that they understand that well-being at work or engaging the spirit of the employees is a win-win situation
for everyone.
For everyone. And today, if you see, may it be the government, may it be the corporates, may it be any business house, they completely understand. They are still taking baby steps, a lot of them.
But at least they are taking.
Yes, that awareness is there that unless the employees self is engaged enough, self is taken care of, you are actually not benefiting out of that employee coming to your workplace. Because if that spirit is not engaged, their business houses, they say they have suddenly gone bankrupt and they don't know what has happened. What has happened is the person who had to give the heads up, he didn't care enough, he didn't showcase a citizenship behavior because that sense of belongingness was not there. And how would that come when you take enough care of that employee? Even in the age of AI that we are seeing right now, what is it that makes humans to stand apart from the technology that is being coming and taking maybe their jobs or doing the work that they have been doing? It is the humanity and the human intelligence. And how do you hone it? That's the solution that we have been giving.
So interesting. I was just about to come to that topic of in this era of AI, where does spirituality even stand? But thank you for answering that even before I asked. But tell me this, I'm sure this journey is not easy. I'm sure even if you try reaching out to a corporate, you will have barriers because I don't think everybody actually even believes in this. What are the biggest challenges that you face?
So when the first book came out, we had at least 6 to 8 months in only establishing this concept because it was so new. The major barrier is the spirituality and the religion connection, which is there in most people's psyche. And also a lot of more traditional preachers of spirituality, which is good, correct. The form in which it is taken up is mostly resisted by the business houses because one is they don't see money in it, they don't see benefit in it, and most importantly, they can't measure it. So those barriers we had to overcome. So that's where a lot of promotional things of ours went into in telling people what this actually is. And so we are the only agency which measures spirituality at work in India currently.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's our USP.
Yeah. Well, that's huge in that case. And how many corporates do you work with, like roughly?
Okay, the numbers we would not say here. But then, there are plenty of them.
And this is from all segments of industries,
yes,
all sectors.
May it be hospitals, may it be service sectors, hotels, may it be construction.
So, what has been, one of those amazingly successful transformation that you brought in? Can you give us just an example?
So we worked for this particular companies wherein they were into a lot of transition and a lot of chaos was happening there, and the leadership was clueless of how do we even go about managing this. And somewhere they heard about us and they called us and we were like, are you even relevant here? Was the first question was asked.
Yeah,
You think because we are totally unstable right now.
Yeah.
You think so we were asked, so you think your work can anyways contribute here? So we were like, you are giving us a fertile ground. When there is chaos is when the new right kind of value system can be put in place.
And so, where they can flourish also.
Yes. So we sat with the leadership team and we understood what values they stand for and where the spirituality at work and their values match. We re-articulated their vision and mission, and then we measured corporate spirituality for their employees, and then we have developmental plans for the leadership team and the next in line. And then we measured it again after 6 months. Their attrition had dropped drastically. So we did a lot of changes on the floor also. Their citizenship behavior had increased, and the engagement levels had increased. So though we were not in those 6 months, obviously you can't hit the highest levels. We had to reiterate it for 6 more months. But then the question of that, okay, we are in a lot of chaos. So are you relevant? We were like, this is where we are relevant.
So, interesting. So this is it may be a stupid question, but just to understand a little better from a layman's perspective, I understand the term employee happiness. Even I myself have done my MPA projects around it. And there are certain matrices that we try to measure in different organizations to understand how happy a person is doing in that particular job and how is it contributing to his productivity. Now, when it comes to corporate spirituality, I understand it's a step deeper, but how deeper and how different is it? Because as a general audience, we understand up to employee happiness. So how different and how deeper could it be?
So happiness, employee happiness or personal happiness is one of the outcomes. Positive outcomes of having the culture of workplace spirituality. Or for per se, if you don't have the culture in the organization, having those values as an employee. Because what happens is, if you as an employee are working on these values, so if you are having meaning in life through work, and you find an organization wherein you come for work and you're getting up and you have that into you come and you really find purpose in what you're doing. That makes you a happier person.
Lovely.
And then when there is no conflict between what you think is right and wrong and the organization, so you're giving your hand. So when your brain is 100% engaged and it's confrontal or non-conflict inside, your happiness levels increase. When you see compassion amongst your peers, when you feel connected to the ecosystem. So when we do sessions for colleges, we tell students that you first list down what are the 5 values that you hold very close to you. And then you find before an organization, find a field which resonates with that. Find a segment which resonates with that. So we'll come to that. And when the ecosystem, that's when you feel a sense of community. How will that happen is when you have a shared value system. And when you're constantly engaging in your own growth. So with all of this, one of the outcomes is obviously your happiness index increases.
Definitely.
Apart from a lot of others that we have been talking about, increase in generosity, benevolence, a lot of other things. So coming back to when we do sessions in colleges, we first tell students to do that. Why? Because supposingly a person has a value system wherein, they would not do certain X amount of things, they would not say certain, but you are pursuing law. So we had those cases. So we said even in law, you can find a field, you need not take certain X amount of a subfield.
Okay.
You can find another kind a field wherein you can still stand by your values. If you just go by the track that
already laid down.
Yeah, everyone is going. So my 80% is class is choosing this substream. I have to. You will never be happy at work. And if you're not happy at work, if you're not satisfied, and that conflict is there every day, your entire being will come down slowly. And that is happening with a lot of youths. And you see people then totally shifting streams. A lot. So then what happens to your so many years of investment? So our consulting to schools and colleges happens there, wherein we tell students to first look into their inner self. Once they understand their inner self, where their happiness lies, where their satisfaction lies, and they jot it down, and so we are now in such an open market. If you give the right kind of attention and training and nurturing, you succeed in almost all fields.
So in this also, I still have some bit of clarity issues, majorly because in a lot of ways, for a person to actually follow their heart and kind of pick up and build a career in something that they're really passionate about, where they know that they can build the best of the best skills and excel in whatever they are doing, that's technically taking a road less traveled, right? And this, even I agree, today's generation, a lot more open. A few years ago, we only had the scenarios where an engineer turning into random other jobs. That was the very most common scenarios that we had. But today, like you said, we have a person who's been in a media college, changing streams because they realize this is not what I want. Or somebody in medicine, after 3 years of MBBS coaching, they shift the fields because that's not what they want, which is great. But the support system that they get, which is their parents, which is still a generation that not fully understand this. They still go by that earlier ruled out path, and this is a constraint still in India. So I'm keeping the corporate formulas aside, but especially since you work a lot with students, how easy or difficult is your work? Because to get the students to understand, I think you're prepared for that. You have your systems worked out for that. But what about the generation before? Because this is an age group which is still dependent on their parents and the people senior to them. How is that going on?
Okay, so there have been many scenarios wherein, say, we go to a lot of colleges. Let's take medical college. People are in their final year, so that's where we interact with them. But then they don't like to really. So the student comes up and says, "I don't really like the work atmosphere, but I'm in my final year." So we say, okay, do you find meaning in curing people? Do you find meaning in being a doctor? Because you're able to, you're just about to finish your degree. So if the answer is yes there, then the problem doesn't lies in the field chosen. Problem lies in the implementation part.
Okay.
You need not go to a mainstream hospital and only become a doctor there. You can still maybe have, if you want to not follow a certain ecosystem, or you really don't want to listen to a lot of people, you can have your own clinics. A lot of wellness centers, there's many streams available, wherein if you have this basic very elite degree, you can use it in various forms. So we tell students that you need to know where your satisfaction lies, where your actualization lies. So in schools, we help them choose the streams. But once the student is already in the stream, we get to interact in their final sems. That's where we are called. So there we don't say that now you change the stream. We tell them that there can be various ways in which you can still find
meaning.
The meaning, because if your core is in place, you really like doing what you're doing, but you don't want to do it in the traditional form.
Oh, makes sense.
You can do it in various other forms.
Yeah. That makes a lot more sense. So you work majorly in Tier 1 cities, Tier 2 cities, or it's equally distributed?
Up till now, it has been majorly in metros. But when we went to IIT exams, they were Tier 2, Tier 3 also.
Yeah.
But majorly in the metros.
Yeah. And how is this particular field going to grow in the near future?
It is the future.
Yeah.
Because
it's good to hear, actually. Yeah.
So this is something not that we have been saying. Obviously, when you put down the matrices, etc., as a firm, we know that what's the market exists there. The industry itself is talking about it. Because the way the AI has taken in and the way the people are trying to really cope up, what is it that will save their day? Only being human. And how do you be human? You be human by being the spirit that you are.
Whoa, yeah.
So that's
such a nice, beautiful to say. You be the human by being the spirit that you are. I'm literally going to quote this. That's a good one.
So when we say that, it's basically acknowledging and using the uniqueness that you have.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. How has this personal journey been for you? How actualized do you feel?
Personally, I feel very satisfied because the internal chaos that I had of what is it doing on my bookshelf, and I really went through all that, wherein I had that guilt trip of I have the solution with me and I'm not giving it off. So in that guilt trip, I wrote the first book. But it's okay. At least it's there on Amazon and the bookstores. Let people take it. At least my job is done. I've given it to the market where it should exist. Then came the other steps. So if you ask me, I'm very satisfied that whatever work we did for so many years. So when I say we, what happens is I did my research, but along with me, so there was my guide. There was the entire research ecosystem at Christ, which is very strong. And to say the least, Christ has a lot of international exposure.
Yeah, it does.
So that entire ecosystem really invested in ensuring that you do a research which is non-contestable. Had it so the credit of doing all this goes to my alma mater.
Lovely.
They ensure that you do it with such a rigor that you're able to answer any damn question, and you are really confident.
Let me just I've admired that about you, to be very honest. I've known you since a year, and you're one of those very few people who, in the particular field that you are in, you're so well versed in what you want, how you see it, how you tackle the problems. Every time we've interacted about it, it's been so inspirational, because I'm sure it's not just the knowledge, it's a belief in what you are actually doing, and that's amazing. What is in future for you? How are you planning to take this forward? What more in terms of books, career, company, everywhere?
So books, like I said, I've been working on a couple of more books.
I hope some publishers are watching this episode.
Okay, thank you. So I've been working. So it will take a bit of a time, maybe 6 to 8 months to have the next book. On the consultancy front, we have been expanding a bit in terms of getting more people, more hands. So that's where it is. We want to spread the work a lot more. So we have been making modules and suggestions even for government agencies. Lovely. With all the changes that have been done in the workplace ecosystem. It's just the first step. There's a lot more things that centrally also needs to be. It's the entire ecosystem. So that has to be in place. So just the employee can't. Just the employer can't. The entire ecosystem has to push towards well-being at work to have a healthier and happier society and India at large.
Yeah.
Only then we grow more.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
But thank you so much. I mean, I've been wanting to have this conversation on screen for such a very long while, because being a corporate yoga and mindfulness trainer myself, I've always connected with this topic and I found the value in it. And like you said, I so wish more and more people get to know about it, get to apply it, because things can transform you and your life can mean a lot more. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Bangalore today for this recording. And I'm sure at least some people, whoever we are able to get this information out, they'll at least feel a little curious about this topic and start researching about it. I mean, even on a personal level, however possible. So thank you so much for coming all the way today, spending your time, giving us so much information and inspiring all of us throughout and out. Do you have a message that you want to give to the
before
viewers
I give a message, I would want to say thank you, Naghma,
Okay.
and thank you, Authors
Always.
Nest, for this opportunity, because the honesty with which you have been doing interviews, I've been following
Thank
you.
So much.
So we really needed this very honest podcast, so that the right kind of audience can be reached,
Yeah,
and we are able to go one step further in making that kind of an impact.
Thank you so much.
So yes, to the audience, I would only want to say that there need not be any fear of the changing external dynamics that we are seeing around. What is required is coming back to humanity, not just in our personal lives, but at work, because that is the only way in which we can grow alongside technology. So, and the corporatespirituality.com is always there to help wherever we can.
Amazing.
So,
I'll put in the link of that definitely into the description as well. Thank you so much, Anshul, on that very good, meaningful message from Dr. Anshul Gupta. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with another meaningful episode. Have a good day. The next show by Naghma